The first thing that we're going to put together is the steel base. And inside the box, you have all the steel pieces along with the instructions, hardware, and adjustable feet. Each of the steel pieces are individually numbered to make assembly super easy. I'll first start out with making the front leg assembly. The steel already has these square holes punched in that allow the bolts to easily sit in them, and a bolt can be tightened to secure the pieces together. At this point in the assembly, we're only going to install one bolt on each connection point so that we can come back later and make sure that everything is squared up. With the front and back assembly together, I'll add on the lower side pieces. I can then add the upper side pieces. And as I mentioned earlier, I can now use the square and shift the legs around to make sure that all the pieces sit at a perfect 90-degree angle before adding the rest of the bolts to fully secure the base. And once the base is together, I can flip it over and thread on some of the leveling feet. I intentionally put the feet on so they would be uneven on the workbench, but you can just shift the bolts on the legs to get a perfectly stable base. So now let's take a look at that cast iron router table. Inside the box, you'll see the table as well as the instructions and some of the mounting hardware. Now this thing is close to 100 pounds, so definitely be careful when moving it around. With all of the plastic removed, you'll notice a lot of grease on the surface. This is there to prevent rust, and it's not a problem because it can easily be wiped off with a clean towel. Now, let's get this beast on the steel base, and for that, you're definitely going to need some help. Don't try to be a hero here.
1, 2, 3. Good? Nice and easy, no rush. This thing is heavy. Sit on here and just watch your fingers. You good? Mm-hmm. Perfect. Thanks.
The underside of the table has these mounting points, and I can drive the included bolts in to hold it securely to the base. The next piece that we're going to take a look at is the router fence. Inside the box, you'll get the instructions, fence, sacrificial fences, dust collection shroud, hardware, bit guard, and some joiner bars. To place the dust shroud on the fence, simply insert 2 T-bolts through the fence, slide the shroud over the bolts, and then secure it in place with the included knobs. And on the ends of the fence, there's a place for another T-bolt and an additional knob. These bolts will allow you to slide the sacrificial fences onto the main fence and tighten it down so it doesn't move. And with both sacrificial fences on, you can see how easy it is to adjust the fence opening to get exactly where you want it, and then use the knobs to hold the pieces down. And the bit guard goes on with some more T-bolts and knobs that allow you to position it anywhere along the fence. Now you'll notice that with the sacrificial fences pushed all the way together, they're perfectly flush, and that's where the joiner bars come in. On one end of the fence, you can see that there are some spots for these bars to slide into. The first set will give you a 1/16 inch offset, and the other set will give you a 1/32 inch offset. And with the fence assembled, We can attach it to the table with the included hardware and it's free to move around. And once you have it exactly where you want it, just tighten the knobs and it's not going anywhere. The next component that we're going to take a look at is the router lift. So inside the box, you'll find the instructions, the handle to raise or lower the lift, the router lift itself, and some included hardware. The lift drops right into the table, but you'll notice that there's a small lip. That's not a problem because the hardware includes these leveling screws that can easily help you dial in the perfect height. Once the table is perfectly level, you can screw in the plate to securely hold it to the table. Now, depending on the size of your router, you may need one of these adapter rings to get your motor to fit in the lift like we do here. The adapter ring gets installed with the lip facing upwards, and then the router motor can easily slide into place. After tightening the two retaining bolts on the outside, the router is securely held in place and can be secured back down to the router table itself. You can now see that the lift is fully functional and can be raised or lowered to exactly where you need the router to be. All that's left to do now is pop on the insert ring and it's all done.
So that's how you get the initial setup of this Rockler routing table. And what I'm gonna do in a couple days is I'm gonna have a whole video about how I upgraded this whole thing. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, that way you don't miss out on that video. Thanks.